Read by FM, we are back. It's been a while, but today we're going to review Key Person of Influence by Daniel Priestley, the 5-step method to become one of the most highly valued and highly paid people in your industry. So I got to know Daniel Priestley. He was on a couple of podcasts. The first podcast I heard him on was Omar El Takori's podcast. And I was like, wow, he talked about the 5 steps. And I was like, this guy is giving a lot for free. I just thought I love when people get on there and they give game. I myself have my own podcast, a player development podcast, where I give game about working with athletes. You can find it in the show notes. But I always respect people that give game because those who give game know a lot. And so I saw him on that podcast, follow him, and then he was on Myron Golden's podcast. You can check out this book review I have right here, Myron Golden's Boss Moves book, which is incredible. You need to go get it. But he talked about this 5-step method, the KPI method, and I really enjoyed it. I listened to a couple more podcasts, and I listened to one. He was on the Diary of a CEO, I believe. And that's the one when I was like, okay, I'm going to buy the book. I'm going to buy the book. So I purchased the book here, and even though I dropped this book was not a flop. I purchased the book here, and here are my 3 takeaways. Number 1, the 5-step process for a key person of influence is pitch, publish, profile, product, and partnership. And so Daniel talks about this. And once again, you can listen to him on a podcast. He talks about this, but in the book, he goes in more detail. A pitch, you got to know your pitch. So for me, I'm a budding entrepreneur who goes around and consults or provides consultation for people in the athlete development field. Basically meaning if you have athletes and you want to make a greater impact on those athletes' lives outside of the field or competition, I help you with that. I help people create carefully crafted plans, programs, and initiatives. So working on a pitch, that's a pitch, right? And so he talks about the pitch and how you can get people with your pitch, and he talks about how to have an engaging pitch, right? You know, oh, that's nice. So what you do, once you hear that, that means they're not engaged. So he talked about pitch. He talked about publish. This is something that I love that he talked about. He talked about publishing. So we all have these ideas, but there's certain ways to publish. You can, like this video here, you can make videos on YouTube. You can write a blog, you can write a newsletter, you can write a book. He definitely talks about writing a book, which I actually have 2 books. And I'm actually going to write my 3rd book in person, which you all find out because I want you all to support it. But he talks about publishing and how a book helps so much. He always says the best book, I heard him say it on a couple podcasts, the best book you'll ever read is the book that you're about to write. And so he talks about publishing and how publishing allows for you to just, people to learn more and for you to just create or touch people from, pretty much it makes it global. His whole deal is how entrepreneurial is global. Entrepreneurship is global. And so I've seen this in my own life since I've done the podcast, and I've done the newsletter. There's people in Germany who listen to my podcast. Someone from Germany put in a proposal or send me as a recommendation to speak at a conference in Spain. It's crazy. But once again, that would have never happened if I did not publish. So publishing is huge. The 3rd P is product. So having a product, and he's going to talk about products. I actually have it as my 2nd point. So I'm not going to, or 3rd point, I'm not going to dive too deep into it because it's a great point. But having a product, what products do you have? What services? A lot of products. He talks about digital services because, you know, back in the day or as we go through these times, things are changing. So I have a couple digital services. People can go get my course. People can download my books. People can, you know, watch whatever they need to watch, or they can purchase consulting and they can go to a webinar, all that different stuff. But what products do you have? This really pushed me on the product side, which I'll talk about a little later. The 4th one was profile. How do you build your profile? When people search your name, my name is Edward Jones II. I don't know if I've ever told people that here, but anyway, on this platform, but Edward Jones II, what do people see on my profile? Do they see videos? Do they see articles? Do they see good things? Is my name carried in good weight? And so talking about building your profile, one thing he talked about that I need to start doing more is being a guest on other people's podcasts, different things like that, which leads to naturally to number 5, or the 5th part of the KPI method, which is partnerships and partnering. To grow the biggest, you have to partner. Yeah, when I took the test, it showed that my weakest area was partnerships. And what I'm saying is, when you take the KPI index test on Scorecard, his platform Scorecard, you get a free book. So I'll leave a link for that test if you want to take the test, or if you just want to go straight to Amazon and get the book, you don't feel like getting the test, giving your emails, all that good stuff. I'll give you the link so you can purchase on your own. But he talked about partnerships. I'm weak in it. I actually have an email I need to respond to today about partnerships. I'm getting better at partnerships, but I understand that partnerships is what's going to help me grow. Partnerships gets different things. He said, like when he moved, his story is when he moved to London from Australia, he had a dinner where he invited all these entrepreneurs. He sat down with them, had meetings, and his network grew because he was able to partner with those people. So partnerships is what takes you to the next level. So that's the first point, that 5-step process of KPI, which is pitch, publish, product, profile, and partnership. All right, my second takeaway, I'm gonna dive into the book on these because there's some good points here that he has. My second takeaway is he talked about when, I believe this was during the pitch section. Yes, this is during the pitch section. And he talked about something I really, really liked. And I wrote these books. Shout out to Alex with Books, I believe it is. I've been doing this ever since. This is my table of contents at the front. And he talked about when people tell you, hey, that won't work, right? Hey, you give an idea, you give a pitch, they say that won't work. He says, rather than getting offended, I'll just read straight from him. Rather than get offended, he sees this negative reaction as an excellent opportunity to find out what people think is currently blocking the way forward. So this is one of his mentors. If someone says to you, that won't work, don't be offended. Get curious. Ask them why they think it won't work. Be patient. Ask a lot of questions and write down the answers. It's these valuable insights that will draw you to discover the most important elements of your pitch that you need to get across. And I thought that was like, legit. I've pitched to people and I've kind of been, okay, cool, whatever. And you kind of be like, whatever, they don't believe in it. But like literally diving. So why do you think this won't work? Why do you think me reaching out to this coach about developing their entire athletic program or adding this piece to their culture of athletic program, athletic team won't work? And you ask more questions and they tell you why. And that helps you build your pitch stronger, right? It's one thing when I was an athlete, you always had a game plan. Like a coach would say, hey, that play's not going to work. And we say, well, why won't this play work? Well, we can't run it because they do it this way. Awesome. Because they do it this way. Well, then here's a counter for that. So I thought that was pretty cool, not to complain, not to feel bad about what someone's saying, but to find a way to get it done. So that was really, really good. And then my third and final takeaway, there's a lot of takeaways, but y'all know me, only do 3 takeaways. Product based off insight. So that's on page 99. This was really, really good. We talked about products and I tried not to share it earlier, but here it is. He said, talking about products and your product's ecosystem, right? He said products and services don't make money. Product and service ecosystems do. And a little further down, he says some products are designed to build relationships. Some products are designed to educate. Some products are designed to implement an idea. All products are based upon your insight. And so I thought that was like, I literally can make a whole bunch of products based off my insight. So my insight is back to athletics, player development. I was a coach, just developing people. I like developing people, helping people get to their next step. And so I can go back on all my insight and say, oh yeah, that could be a product. Because one thing Daniel Priestley and a lot of other people have said is what we think is common sense, someone will pay tens of thousands of dollars for. And so building a ecosystem of products that are based on my insight. So this may be you may be listening to this. You can build a ecosystem of products based off your insight. Literally, I was on Canva the other day trying to figure out how to do something. I was like, if someone had this video, it could work. Now I figured out how to do it, so probably I'm the one that needs to make this video. But I have purchased so much stuff based off people's insight. Canva, as I'm a budding entrepreneur, Canva. I've written books. This book is based off Daniel Priestley's insight, right? So here's a product off that. So that's something I thought. Those are my 3 takeaways. The 5-step, takeaway number 1, the 5-step model. Remember that is going to be pitch, publish, product, profile, and partner. The second takeaway is when someone tells you don't work, dive deeper into why to help build your pitch. And the third one is products are based on your insights. Once again, this is a great book. I did drop the book earlier. This is not a flop. Daniel Priestley, appreciate you for this book. I have a link to this book in the show notes. Also, the next book I'm reading is oversubscribed. This is another book he has. This is my next read. I'm excited to dive into this one. This one is thick. And then he has another book I purchased, which is 24 Assets. So kind of create a digital, scalable, valuable, and fun business that will thrive in a fast changing world. So I am a Daniel Priestley believer. He has been on a lot of people's podcasts that I admire and have helped me in my role. So there it is. Go get this book. You can, once again, you take the test. I have a link in the show notes if you want to get straight to getting this book. This will help you big time. Hey, let's go be a key person of influence together. Let's make it happen.